Behind every major real estate deal, there's a room you're not allowed into. Not yet. On one side sit pension funds, family office, and institutions writing nine-figure check. On the other side sits you, the person who put in almost none of the cash, yet walks away with more, not because of a loophole, because of one powerful clause buried in every deal. A clause most investors have never thought to question. This is the career that controls that room. At every level. If you're enjoying this, a subscription helps a lot. Let's dive in. Level 1. Development Analyst 23 years old. You're 23, a development analyst at a firm. Building mixed-use projects in a city constantly debating its future. Base salary, $76,000. Your real job is building financial models and carrying binders into meetings you're not invited to join. The model is called a pro forma, a projection of a building that doesn't exist yet. You forecast construction costs, future rents or sale proceeds, and subtract one from the other. The remaining number decides if the project lives or dies. Your first pro forma takes 5 days. The senior associate marks it up heavily and sends it back. You revise it twice more until the third version goes upstairs with no comments. In this industry, silence is the highest praise at your level. You spend your first 8 months mastering the capital stack, who provides the money and who gets repaid first. The bank sits at the top with its low-risk construction loan. Below it is equity, putting up 30 to 40% of the cost and taking real downside. At the very bottom is the developer, often contributing just 1 to 4% of the total cost. What they bring, instead, is the idea, the relationships, and years of unseen work. You turn 24. Total comp reaches $89,000. You've built 17 pro formas. None have broken ground. That's normal. Most deals die early. The survivors are the ones whose numbers survive reality. Level the associates old, à 28, you source your first land deal. The feeling is nothing like you imagined. With an MBA or several years of experience, your base is now $145,000. A good year brings total comp to about $192,000. You're no longer modeling someone else's deal. You're finding the deals. That means cold calling owners who aren't selling, driving neighborhoods at dawn, and sitting across from long-time landowners, explaining why your lower offer is actually what the land can realistically support. Most calls go nowhere. In your first quarter, 41 calls yield only one serious opportunity. A former warehouse in a newly rezoned mixed-use area. Listed at $5.1 million, you need it at $4.4 million. After 9 months of negotiation, you close at $4.65 million. During entitlement, 2 other deals collapse. One seller backs out, another dies when rates rise and kill the numbers. You return a hard-fought deposit. Walking away from a deal that no longer pencils isn't failure. It's the discipline that keeps you in the game. Level 3. The senior, associate 31 years old. You now operationally own a project, from land close to certificate of occupancy. You're 31, base, $168,000. Strong year total comp, $235,000. The project, 140-unit apartment building with ground floor retail. Total cost $42 million. Firm equity, $10.8 million. The rest is bank construction debt. The first 20 months are all entitlements. You appear before the Planning Commission 5 times, battling traffic studies, design changes, and neighbor opposition. On the 4th hearing, affordability concerns arise. You negotiate a community benefits deal to 6% of units at below-market rents and finally win approval. Relief lasts 45 minutes. Then the draw process begins. The bank releases funds only after inspectors verify progress, making your relationship with the general contractor a daily dependency. If they slip, your draws slip, interest piles up, and returns shrink. You spend 3 intense days on the phone resolving it with the GC, bank, and director. The building opens on time, leases in 4.5 months, and delivers 18% annualized to investors. Your director replies with 2 words, solid execution. This time, it hits differently. Level 4. The vice president, 35 years old. At 35, you raise your first institutional equity round. And realize the truth. Development isn't construction, it's a capital business. Construction only happens once the money is secured. Base, $225,000. Strong year cash comp, tilde. Dollar, $375,000. Now you truly touch the promote. The promote works like this. Limited partners get their capital back, plus a preferred return, usually 8 to 12%. Any profit above that hurdle is split heavily in favor of the general partner. That excess is the promote, the math that justifies the risk. Your first VP deal, 210-unit, mixed-use building. With 25,000 square feet retail, total cost $62 million. You raise $13.5 million for institutions. Over 7 months of meetings and site tours. The biggest LP, a university endowment, grills you across for committee sessions. On equity close day, the wires hit and you sit motionless at your desk. This deal has your name in the operating agreement. If it perform, your personal promote seeds $1.4 million. If not, the difficult conversation is yours alone. You approve the first draw that week. If you've reached this point, you're exactly who this channel is for. Level 5. The managing director, 41 years old. À 41, you run the entire platform. Not one project, but 7 active deals across for markets totaling $480 million. Base, $275,000. Strong year comp, tilde. Dollar, $540,000. What matters most is the promote stacking across 5 deals nearing exit. If they hit, your combined promote will top $7.2 million. The job has changed. You no longer know every detail, you know the right details at the right time. You manage 8 direct reports. Their mistakes become your investor calls. One VP brings an aggressive land deal in a new Sun Belt market. It works under your optimistic assumptions, but not under consensus. You approve it, clearly explaining your reasoning. And the risks. 6 months later, a competitor announces a project 3 blocks away. You rebuild the model over a weekend, then proactively call the LP with the updated numbers. They stay in. Your VP learns more about trust in 20 minutes than any spreadsheet could teach. You don't call yourself a top developer, even when introduced that way. You see yourself as someone skilled at managing other people's capital without losing it. Level 6. The principal 47 years old. À 45. You quietly leave to start your own platform after years of building LP relationships in the background. Your former MD says you're ready and offers to co-invest in your first deal. The project that made your reputation was a complex, transit-oriented tower others had passed on, contaminated land, air rights issues, overlapping agencies. You closed it while still at the old firm. No 47. The tower delivers 340 units, 45,000 square feet commercial, and a required public plaza. Total cost, $128 million. Your entity put in 7% equity. It returns 24% annualized, well above the 11% hurdle. Your personal promote for $0.7 million. The money didn't change your life as dramatically as expected. What changed was how the industry looked at you. The deal became a business school case study, and city leaders started calling for advice. Your first independent project is a $55 million adaptive reuse of an old industrial site into creative lofts. It pencils at 20% on a 12% hurdle. You personally guarantee $5.3 million of the construction loan, not because you had to, but because it's your deal now. You believe in it the same way you always have. When everyone else wanted to pass, you stood up. There's another character in this story, the man you've seen across the table since level 4. He's 52, allocating capital for a large family office, averaging 11.7% per year. A strong number he likes quoting. What he doesn't mention is the closing dinner 3 years ago. His office put in 24% of equity. The developer put in 7%. The deal returned 24%. The developer made for $0.7 million through the promote. He had been the fuel. Someone else drove and took the largest share by design. Because this isn't passive investing, it's a career. He's not bitter. He's recalibrating. À 52 sorties la seconde, and has already faced the planning commission once. He's starting at the bottom of the ladder he watched others climb. For 20 years. Inévérable, there are those who provide, and those who control what happens to it. The promote exists because those roles demand different skills, carry different risks, and therefore earn different rewards. The buildings that define city skylines were never built by the people with the most money. They were built by those willing to put their name and reputation on the line for something that didn't yet exist. That is the career. That is what it costs. If you're still here, tell me in the comments which level you're at. I read them all. And if this hit, a subscription helps me keep making these honest career deep dives. See you next time